Hi everyone, it's Loretta. Today I'm going to show you how to make these fun Christmas tags. You can also use them for ornaments, gift toppers, whatever you want. And I'm going to show you how I'm making them. You're going to need some die cuts. These are from Sizzix, and they are retired gingerbread man. You'll also probably want some regular glue, some scissors, scrapbooking paper, whatever that you'd like to make these with. I also have some lace trim, jingle bells, and that kind of thing for this project. So let's get started real quick. Last time I tried to film this, I was completely out of frame, and the video wouldn't transfer from my phone to my computer. Mostly because I let it get too long. I know better. I usually shoot these in little spurts of 10-15 minutes and then splice them together in Word. So you can still find that program, by the way. I apologize for the noise in the background. My puppies have actually been in their kennel quite a bit today, and so they are expending some energy here before we go to bed. So I just used my glue. I used my favorite tool, my fingers. And I'm going to just apply this. This is a vintage hymn book from my collection. And I just die cut it with the same die. I'll try to remember to leave the information down below. You can still find this die, use what you have, but the process is pretty much the same. This is actually a medium weight chipboard. It's heavier than cereal boxes, but I do encourage you to use things like cereal boxes, soda boxes, boxes that your crackers come in, that kind of thing. They work perfect for die cutting, especially this type of die. This is a steel rolled die. I know that you guys who have the new Gemini Junior will be a little bit disappointed because you cannot use this type of die in that machine. It is just too thick for the opening. If you don't already have something like a Big Shot or an AccuCut Grand Mark machine, Dagavon, Spellbinders type machine, then I do suggest that you invest in one of those. If you're going to do something like this, it involves chipboard. Otherwise, you're going to have to cut a whole bunch of layers of regular scrapbooking paper or what have you to get the same nice thickness that this offers. I am just going to use this ink. This is a fudge ink. I think it's called Hot Fudge, and it is from your favorite things. Excuse me, my favorite things. And I'm just going to distress this lightly by just pouncing and letting the baby wipe is what this is. It's not even wet anymore. I have, it just sat out and got dry. That's fine. So we're just going to go ahead and sponge this. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the back because you will see both sides of this. You can use, like I said, scrapbooking paper of your choice to do this as well. Use what you have. You can find old textbooks, old music books, hymnals, whatever at your local thrift store. You can also, I know that I did, there were some hymnals that were no longer being used at a church I used to attend, and I asked if I could buy one, and they just said, no, you can have it. And so that's always a blessing when someone gifts you things. So there you have it. There he is. Now, what I'm going to do, I have some ribbon. I've actually been cutting this for this purpose. I'm just going to cut a strip. It doesn't need to be straight. It doesn't need to be perfect. But this is going to be his scarf. This is probably 10-12 inches or so. And like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to get done. And so there we have it. And I'm going to take my ink pad I'm just going to use my thumb and just press this ribbon into the ink. You can even just kind of hold it and then pull the ribbon. And since you're going to kind of see both sides, you want to do both sides. And this just kind of keeps it from being so, you know, cutesy, I guess, or overly perfect. So I'm just going to tie this around his little neck. And I'm going to, I'm not going to tie a complete knot, and I'll show you why in just a second. I'm just going to tie it like that for now. And we're going to bring back our ink pad. This is just some twine I have from my collection. It's actually meant, I think, for crochet. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a not so big piece, kind of small actually, and kind of get these goobers out. I'm going to put it onto my ink pad, and I'm going to do the same thing. You can also just lay it on top and just kind of rub the baby wipe or sponge or whatever you're using over the top of it to color it. You can also put a bunch of string in a zip top bag with some re-inker of some kind. You can tea dye it, whatever, but once again I'm doing this because I want it to look a little bit older and not so, you know, pristinely perfect. Now this jingle bell is silver, and this is not what I want. So what I'm going to do is, so that this doesn't look quite as shiny, I'm going to just give it a rough kind of going over with a Copic marker. This is E25. You can also leave this outside. It can get rusty. You can buy them already kind of rusted. Okay, so that's just that. And once again, it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm going to just leave that to dry for just literally a second. It's probably already dry. So I'm just going to take my thread and place it through the jingle bell, thread it just like you would a needle. And I'm going to put this underneath the tie, or where it's going to be tied, I should say. Alright, my friends, you did not need to hear me fuss after I clipped his little scarf off by mistake, so I just fixed it off camera. So now what we're going to do is we're going to give this precious guy a little face. And I have some Google Eyes just off camera range here. And these are like 3 or 4 millimeter. I'm not really positive the size, but you know, choose the ones that you like. And I used my stylus, and I just picked up a couple little drops of glue. And you're not going to really see the glue. It dries completely clear. We're going to let that sit up for just a moment. And I'm going to take my Faber-Castell Pit. These are wonderful for projects like this because they are fairly waterproof, and you can give him a little personality. If you wanted, you could even give this guy a little orange nose like a snowman would have, but we're just going to leave it like it is, keep it simple. And I'm going to just use my R30 marker and give him some little cheeks. Very simple, very simple. So now I have this die cut. This is also a retired Sizzix die, and it is a Christmas tree. Just like I covered the gingerbread man, I covered the Christmas tree. This is scrapbooking paper on one side and the music note or hymnal paper on the other. I was a little bit too glue happy. I'm not real worried that the base of the tree on this side didn't cover, but I am kind of worried that I just stuck my finger in there. And I'm just going to roughly go around the edges of this tree. So now that that's done, I'm going to just get my ink pad out of my way. I'm going to grab my hot glue gun. You can use E6000, you can use regular glue, whatever you have. Let's get this back in frame. And I kind of like it at an angled look, kind of like that. I think that looks nice. Just put a little bit right here toward the base. So eyeball it to where I want it to be. So right there looks good. A little bit more of an angle, and just hold that into place. All right, now we're going to package these. I'm using some clear plastic bags. These are from clearbags.com. And I have cut this piece right here to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I loosely sponge the edges. Now, to make sure that this doesn't slide around in the packaging, I'm just going to use some of my repositionable glue dots. These are like little tiny square glue dots. You could write "to from" on the back. These will easily come off. When the recipient gets them, they just have to roll them off with their hands. Put that into place. Make sure it is facing the front of the bag, which just got into the glue. So let's get another bag. Okay, so we're going to put this in. So that the adhesive part of the bag is going to be facing the bag. You can also put this in the other way, where the tag is upside down in the bag, so that you could open it from the bottom, but I am not really worried about that right now. Turn it over once it's dry. This is just a sample. I may have to redo it later, we'll see. And I'm going to seal the bag, but I'm going to leave enough at the top for its topper. This topper measures 4 1/2 inches by 3 inches, and then it is scored in the middle. We're simply just going to take our stapler and staple it closed. And I like this young lady so much that all I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this over. You can use glue, hot glue, whatever you have. I'm going to use hot glue and just be right there across the top. And this is just the opposite side of the paper. This paper is from Graphic 45. It is the Christmas Carol paper. And I'm going to put a little dollop of hot glue right there. And this little guy, little Mr. Gingerbread, is going to sit right here on top. Just like that. And you can stamp Merry Christmas or just to and from or whatever you'd like. I'm just going to go to and from with this pen. And since there really isn't anything on the front, I think what I'm going to do is just add a couple of these little hearts. These have actually been sitting on my desk most of the day, so they have gotten sprays and everything else on them. Just kind of lightly distress that. Once again, you can use what you want, but I am going to use a little tiny bit of hot glue on this, just because it's fast and convenient. Put it at a slight angle. Use another gingerbread boy. There you have it. You can just use your finger and put that jingle bell where you want it. But this is the finished product, as you can plainly see. Here are some others I've made, and I will show you in a different video how I did them. Here's a large tag with a Christmas tree, and there's a mitten, another gingerbread man. I did several different types of the same shaped tags, as you can plainly see. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave me a thumbs up. Share my videos on your social media. If you haven't and you'd like to be, please subscribe to my channel. If you hit the little bell beside the subscribe button, you will be notified when I upload videos in the future. Please also check out the coordinating blog post to this video, which will be listed below the video here on YouTube. Leave me a comment if you have a question. If you have detailed questions, then send me an email. Private Messenger is no longer available on YouTube, just as a reminder. Remember, the comment section is a public forum, so keep that in mind. All right, everyone, thanks for joining me for this episode of the Craft Fair series. Thank you so much. Stay happy and be a blessing. Bye for now.